New South Wales Planning Minister Anthony Roberts has announced an independent review of development in flood-prone parts of the state. Key points: Labor has questioned the impact of the review on people beginning the process of rebuilding after the floods. Labor has questioned the impact of the review on people beginning the process of rebuilding after the floods. Greens MLC David Shoebridge raised the possibility that people may not be eligible for compensation if their land was rezoned. Greens MLC David Shoebridge raised the possibility that people may not be eligible for compensation if their land was rezoned. Anthony Roberts said that was an issue for the Environment Department. It comes in the wake of the destruction of 2,800 homes in floods that ravaged the state's northern rivers. About 5,500 more were damaged. I have instructed the Secretary of the Department of Planning and Environment to commence an independent review of the relevant instruments, policies and programs applying to development in flood-prone locations across NSW, as well as existing developments, Mr. Roberts told a budget estimates hearing. The terms of reference and the names of those appointed to oversee the review will be finalized shortly. Mr. Roberts said the department would make the terms of reference of the inquiry public until it appointed an expert to conduct the review. The terms of reference I have instructed the department to undertake include a broader look at not just rebuilds, but where people can build in the future, the various sciences that can be applied, he said. The department confirmed the state's chief scientist would be asked to participate in the review, but could not confirm if there would be public hearings. Labor's Penny Sharp and Rose Jackson asked Mr. Roberts if the review could lead to home owners being forced off their land. Concerns about timing. Labor's Penny Sharp questioned the impact of the timing of the review on people beginning the process of rebuilding. Do you foresee through this review that people could be moving back into their houses and then the review could determine that they have to move back out? She asked Mr. Roberts. Look, I am going to wait for the review to be delivered before I comment on that, he replied. But that is a possibility, Labor's Rose Jackson said. As Ms. Sharp said, people are cleaning out their house to move back in, and that is absolutely at the front of their mind, Minister. And then your government drops an independent review that says, oh, actually all those people should move. That is seriously what you are suggesting is possible. No, you are speaking about hypotheticals and I am not going to be drawn into hypotheticals, Mr. Roberts said. Mr. Roberts faced some hostile questions about the review. What if rezoning is recommended? In a heated exchange during the hearing, Greens MLC David Shoebridge asked Mr. Roberts whether homeowners would receive any compensation if the review determined their land should not be used for housing. Minister, you know there's zero compensation under the current arrangements, Mr. Shoebridge said. You are not offering these people, who have lost potentially everything, a single glimmer or hope. I am not going to answer that. That is just highly obnoxious, Mr. Roberts said. The committee chair, Animal Justice MLC Mark Pearson, attempted to clarify the situation. Is part of the plan in response to all of this from your department going to include consideration of compensation to people who have lost so much, he asked. That would be a whole-of-government approach, and that is something the government is looking at from all angles, Mr. Roberts said. Mr. Shoebridge suggested that if someone was told they could not rebuild, there was zero compensation under the planning system. That's the way it works at the moment, isn't it? He said. The issue of flood-prone land and acquisition is an environmental management issue, and so that questions should really be directed at the Minister for the Environment, Mr. Roberts said. The answer drew howls of derision from the opposition and crossbenchers. That was just an extraordinary answer, Ms. Sharp said. The Minister said he hoped to release the terms of reference for the review in the coming weeks.